Welcome everyone to our day 8 of Breath Awakening meditation session. Happy Tuesday. Let's start our Tuesday with beautiful meditation, followed by wisdom sharing by great master, Sai Krupa Sagar sir, and then experience sharing by Sri Hari Sharma ji. As Patriji said, spiritual health is a root and physical health is a fruit. No hurry, no worry, but do not waste time. So let's drop our physical and mental activity and go to our natural state. Your state is peace and happiness. Practice meditation sincerely. If you're mentally strong, then your physical health will be strong. So let's start meditation. Let's welcome Shubhu. Welcome, Shubhu.
Thank you, Blossom. Thank you for that. Good morning and good evening, dear friends. This is week 2. Congrats. So we have completed 1 week. Now we are into week 2. What a day. It's the full moon day. But as Shalini mentioned, the energies are much more and very conducive for meditation. So yesterday we had a beautiful session by Sriram sir, and the two cornerstone wisdom, right? I know you probably can't say this, but it says you create your own reality. And the next one, which is the point of power, is now. I know it is inverted. It won't come up properly, but yes, it says the point of power is now. 2 beautiful, profound statements which started the New Age spirituality by one of the greatest spiritual teachers of our time, Seth. Yesterday, we also discussed about intent, essentially placing the intent and sustaining the intent as the choices show up. In the physical plane, as the choices show up, sustain the intent. So we are aligned to the flow, aligned to the energy flow. Close your eyes. Be very comfortable. Let's be very, very comfortable and let's close our eyes. You wouldn't need the spectacles. Let's start with a gem from Patriji. We have to come out of our verbal level activity, our mind level activity, our intellect level activity into pure consciousness. That is meditation. Friends, now we are in 2nd week. The first week, we have learned how to meditate. We have made friendship with breath. We have used it to calm our mind. And as Blossom mentioned, our natural state. We know how to do it. We know the path now. We already know the path. We have gotten there. And now we know how to get there. We've been practicing for a week now. So the goal, my dear friends, is to get into a state where there is no verbal level activity, mental activity, intellectual activity, essentially no chatter. No chatter. This is the state of pure consciousness or the source, also known as Shunya. Shunya, or the thoughtless state. Calm and ease. Thoughtless state. Let this be our target for the next 2 weeks. Let's get to that state of Shunya and be in that state as much as possible during meditation. So one more time, let this be our intent. We have to come out of our verbal level activity, our mind level activity, our intellect level activity into pure consciousness. And that is meditation. With this, let's get into meditation. Let the eyes be closed. Please let the eyes remain closed. Be as comfortable as possible. Relax your body. You know the procedure. Every part of your body. See if there is any tension anywhere. Just scan through the body and relax. Body naturally breathes. For that, let's make the body as comfortable as possible. Park the body. Let's calm our mind. This is our time. There is nothing which needs to be done right now. No hurry, no worry. Now bring your attention to your normal, natural breath. Be with your in-breath, out-breath. Just be with your breath. Let's use breath as the anchor to get to the thoughtless state. Let's not go with the thoughts, dear friends. Be with your normal, natural breath. Let's continue being with our normal, natural breath. Slowly come back to your friends. No hurry. Please take your time. Whenever you're ready, slowly unclasp your hands. You may rub your hands. Slowly place the fingers on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whenever you're comfortable, you may open your eyes. A lot of gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shubhu, for a quick recap and for continuous guidance in meditation. Now, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Sai Krupa Sagar sir, to share his wisdom on mind. I'll give a brief introduction about him. Sai Krupa Sagar is an avid meditator, mind explorer, and technology business leader. Sai has realized profound benefits from a regular and consistent meditation practice of 15 years. He now shares his knowledge and experience through teaching, speaking, and writing on meditation and spiritual science. He is a trained coach and a public speaker. He has been conducting classes on Anapanasati meditation and Yoga Sutras since the past 4 years through in-person classes in London and Bangalore and through online classes globally. He currently serves as a managing trustee of Pyramid Valley International, Bangalore. He drives APS 21 online Anapanasati Foundation course and stillness retreat at Pyramid Valley, which have benefited hundreds of people. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, my dear friends. Nice to be back here on this Breath Awake program. And I know we're probably done with 1 week already. So we are on day 8 of this Breath Awake program. I'm sure a lot of us have been a lot more mindful now with a lot of physiological and psychological changes since the time we started this program on November 1st. So let me dive into what I wanted to talk. I know there have been a lot of wonderful sessions happening for the last 7 days. But today I'm going to talk about something that Shibu initially alluded to in the first 5 minutes about mind chatter. Is my volume and the video okay? The presentation? Wonderful. Thank you. So mind chatter is what we're going to talk about, because that is, we always have the storyteller in the mind, right? And the storyteller always tells a lot of stories. How long to meditate? How long do I meditate? I'm still getting some thoughts. Why is that person thinking that way? What is this program about, right? And once you start consuming news, there's a lot of judgment that's happening. So we all have the storyteller in our mind. The goal of all spiritual practices is about silencing that storyteller. And that is the biggest challenge. When we get the storyteller silent, then what happens is we get connected to our real intelligence. So we get liberated from the constant chatter of our mind. That is liberation. That is self-realization. That is awakening. You awaken to the potential inside you once the storyteller, once you start ignoring the storyteller. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let me start with an initial survey of 2,000 plus smart and successful people. One of the universities did a survey, and then the question asked was, what do you think? I mean, what is the content of your thinking most of the time? And what they found is 75%, a lot of people found that 75% of the time, they always have a negative chatter related to inferiority complex, being unloved, lack of control, right? So 75% of the time, or 75% of the people reported most of the chatter was negative. Only 25% reported they had positive chatter, and those were related to more being feeling loud, efficient, and perceived control. So I'm sure one of the sessions might have covered why we are hardwired and how we are hardwired to always have that negative chatter. As humans, we are hardwired to always find the negative in other person. That is because our body is physiologically built to sense, perceive, and react to danger. Only thing, in the early stages, the danger was a bear. Millions of years ago, people, when the humans used to inhabit in forests, that time the dangers were bears and lions, and maybe things like natural calamities. But today, in the modern civilized world, the danger could be an overbearing boss, could be a very crazy kid, or could be a very noisy parent. Every time you see the danger, what happens? We start judging, and then of course the education system, the culture of competition, everything starts creating a lot of mind chatter. And most of the mind chatter comes from our subconscious mind. This is again a proven fact from psychology, right? And then we always, only 10% of our thoughts comes from our conscious thinking, like what I'm speaking right now, what you're hearing. But as you hear me, there's 90% of it, the chatter coming from subconscious mind. Oh, the volume is good, volume is bad, or it's probably warm, is it hot, right? Or there are 10 more minutes to go, or something that we think about that we need to do later. And the bulk of the subconscious thing comes from our beliefs, from our emotions and habits, right? And all of you may be familiar with words like conscious mind, subconscious mind. It comes from your subconscious memory, it comes from your subconscious beliefs. So generally, the consciousness model talks about a different layering. I mean, different psychologists and different people talk about varying levels of consciousness. Talk about conscious, subconscious, superconscious, unconscious. For simplicity, we'll talk about only three. So there is this conscious mind, which we use the frontal part of the brain, which is the conscious part of the brain, which is usually associated with analysis and logic. Anytime we analyze something, anytime we logically think, anytime we access our memory, we use our conscious brain. And similarly, subconscious mind is where all our emotions, beliefs, habits, feelings, and attitudes get embedded. And the superconscious mind is who we are. All spiritual practices will tell you, right? We are pure consciousness, we are pure divinity, we are pure intelligence. And that is what is superconscious mind. But unfortunately, most of the time what happens is we work with our conscious and subconscious mind because a lot of programming that happens in our subconscious mind. How does it happen? So before that, we all know we are like this diamond, pure. I call this as factory settings. We are all born with the factory settings of intelligence, spontaneity, creativity, connection, authenticity, intuition, compassion. We're all born. When we were a kid, we used to exercise all this. We used to be very spontaneous, right? We used to connect without any inhibitions. We never used to judge, right? All fighting used to happen in the moment. And the next moment, the fighting, or we don't carry the fighting, we start playing with our friends. That's how it is. But over time, we start getting programmed. What do we get programmed with? We programmed with a lot of beliefs. You need to have a specific job and profession to be happy. You need to have A, B, C, D for you to gain respect from society, right? And there are a lot of concepts in terms of this is how you should eat, this is how you should behave, right? And then there are always this negative emotion. What if I don't live up to other people's expectations? And slowly we develop certain attitudes towards religions, whether I belong to the left, whether I belong to the right, whether I am sympathetic, whether I am secular, right? So we tend to develop some beliefs and attitudes. And then there are some bullshit rules that gets programmed into us. That you need to be famous for you to be happy. That you need to do certain things, you need only then gods will be happy or God will punish you, right? And there are a lot of unconscious programs that also come from our past lives, our past samskaras, or past vasanas, right? So there are always sometimes people will have a fear of something right from the time that they are born. They don't know how that came from. So some people will have wonderful talents. They all get programmed from the past lives. So these are the programs that run, and consistently as we grow, these programs get programmed in our mind. And now we're trying to deprogram most of those. And how do they get formed? So initially, there is a thought and feeling. You get a feeling, I'm sure, I think there are some past speakers who talked about how those thoughts generate certain neurotransmitters, and it results in a feeling. If it is a good feeling or a bad feeling, the thought and feeling get recorded in our memory. And over time, those thoughts and feelings become attitudes. Those attitudes become beliefs, and those beliefs become perceptions, right? Over time, the repeated thoughts, and those reflect in our habits. Those reflect in our behaviors. This is how it is formed, right? So just like the way if you teach a kid, you tell a kid who looks at a dog and say, be careful, it'll bite you, right? And that statement being reiterated multiple times over time forms a belief. And then whether the dog is, dangerous or whatever it is, you form a perception that all dogs are dangerous, which is not true. So that's an example. Similarly, there are a lot of things, right? This is how you should behave, this is how you should act, and things like that. So this is how we get programmed. Our mind gets programmed, and our storyteller gets all the substance from that particular mind. And we all know our thoughts and attitude drive 100% of our experience every moment. It's nothing else. In this moment, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Is what drives my experience, right? And that determines our choices, whatever be our choices in career, choices in health, relationships, the way we create, the behaviors, our personality traits. So over time, they all get embedded in our personality. And we start believing, we start acting in terms of that, right? So that is a psychological model of how the mind works. And then thousands of years ago, our yogis knew all this even without scientific experimentation, right? So they had this download from consciousness. So what yogic science tells is at any point of time, our mind, our conscious, our chatter, mind chatter, our mind is always in one of these 5 states. We're either lethargic, we are dull, right? We don't want to do anything. You can relate to that. Or our mind is very restless, the monkey mind, right? Most of the time, as soon as you sit in meditation, that's what happens. It hops from one thing to another thing, right? Or it is distracted like a butterfly, right? So sometimes you focus on this, sometimes you focus on it. It's very distracted. I want to do this, but I also want to do that. Monkey mind has no stable reason, whereas distracted mind is I want to do this, but there are other things also taking my time. And then there is this state of one-pointedness, full concentration, which is what our students need, which is what all of us need whenever we do any particular work. And then there is this ultimate state of nirodha, right? Like Patanjali says, yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. So the whole goal of yoga is to arrest those mind waves and get to that nirodha state. So in meditation, or we go through all this. First day, we wake up early and then sit for meditation. Second or third day, you think, oh my God, I need to wake up early or whatever it is, I need to make time. And then once we sit in meditation, the monkey mind starts becoming active. We get all the thoughts, right? And then we get distracted. And then as we continue to bring our attention to our breath, we slowly become one-pointed. And once we get one-pointed, all the mind waves become silent, and that is where empty mind. In that empty mind state, we start accessing our superconscious. These are called chitta bhumis in yogic science. And so you all know the key functions of a mind as well, right? So yogic science calls it as mano, chitta, mano, buddhi, ahamkara, and chitta. So manas is a sensation, the way we feel things through our five senses or six senses, including thought. Ahamkara's ego, will quickly touch upon it. And then buddhi is the intellect that can discriminate which is right and wrong for you. And then chitta, the consciousness, is pure awareness. And yogic science talks about it. At any point of time, our mind waves are categorized into any of these five. So at any point of time, so the earlier we talked about the types of consciousness, right? It's very distracted, one-pointed. But what inherits, what are the mind waves, what are the thoughts that come in? There are five types which are called the vrittis. Chitta and vrittis, the waves of the mind, waves of consciousness, right? So one is sleep, is very, very clear for us. Anytime our mind is always, we are either sleeping or thinking about something from our memory. We are thinking about people, we are recollecting situations, we are creating feelings. And some of those things are real. Most of the time it is imaginary, which is illusion, right? We call it as assumptions. We call it daydreaming. Oh, I'm going to go on a vacation tomorrow. What if something happens? I'm thinking about a beautiful vacation, driving over to maybe a 100-mile drive. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think what are all the possibilities that could happen? What are the things that I should plan for? It's all that is imagination and planning. And then we always have knowledge, which we hear, right? Which is not complete. So it's basically indirect knowledge or incomplete knowledge. Patanjali calls it anything that you don't experience is incorrect knowledge. And then, of course, we have the correct knowledge where we infer, where we experience. At any point of time, these are the five mind. Anytime you can check in, whatever, right? So you can check in and figure out at any point of time, this is what either my mind, and this is imagination, this is memory, this is I'm sleeping, of course, it's very obvious. And this is the knowledge I'm hearing, and this is the knowledge I know is true for me. So these are the five types of this thing. So is it harmful? Do all these five cause issues with our health, psychologically and physically? The answer is, it is okay to have these kind of thinking, but only when they are colored with some emotions, when they are colored with what Patanjali calls it as kleshas, is when those thoughts causes suffering. Those thoughts causes pain. He talks about those five kleshas. Ignorance, I don't know, which is maybe you can relate it to confusion. And then ego, whenever you have those thoughts related to it is mine, I don't want to let go. And that also leads to fear, right? And then any thoughts that are related to attachment, desire, greed, or thoughts related to serious like and dislike, disliking something or hating something, aversion, and of course, fear of what happens. I mean, all these are interrelated, right? Mostly driven by the ego. The storyteller keeps telling these stories based on the different types, but then it also adds a color which gives us the feeling of ego or self-identity, attachment, like, dislike, and fear. And that is when it becomes harmful. That is when it causes health issues. So what is the goal? The goal ideally is to calm our mind. Or the secondary goal is it's okay to think, it's okay to plan, it's okay to think logically. Right? Only thing is you don't add the color of one of these emotions. The moment you start adding the color of one of these emotions, then it starts becoming an imprint, and that is when you get programmed. So this is a modern day version of the mano, buddhi, chitta, ahamkara, this thing, right? I mean, for a lot of us familiar with devices and computers, this could be a familiar block diagram. So we have the senses, five senses, sensory mind, the different functions or different parts of the mind. Then we have the intellect, which is a thinking and emotional mind. And then there's a narrating mind, which is our storyteller, which is our ego self. And then there is this memory or storehouse, which has the imprints. But every time you learn, for example, you see a four-legged animal with a tail, right? And then through your senses, through your eyes and ears on what the animal does, the senses give the picture, project the picture into your mind and adds a lot of information. And the intellect gives it a meaning. Oh, this four-legged animal with a tail which barks is a dog, right? And then there is some past memory stored here in your database, in your storehouse, and the narrating mind, based on the imprint, if someone told you dogs are dangerous, then automatically it adds a sense of fear, adds a color of fear to it. Then you feel a feeling of fear, you know what type of dog is. In some cases, someone who's researched a lot on dogs, who knows as we continue to learn, we know this is a particular type of dog, right? This is a dachshund, this is a German Shepherd. So who does it? That's the intellect mind. That's the intellect that's actually matching these patterns and telling you, right? And a particular type of dogs are dangerous, a particular type of dogs are not dangerous. So it all tells that, and then narrating mind tells you a story. It immediately picks up a mind, 10 years ago, that particular person got bit by a dog, so be careful. Or it could be a wonderful memory. Your neighbor has a wonderful pet, and having a pet helps you free up your emotions, right? I mean, it helps you be safe with your emotions. So there are a lot of these things. And every time we think, every time we add a klesha to it, those imprints keep forming in our subconscious mind, which is our database. Those could be imprints from past lifetimes. You must have heard about prodigies, child prodigies, who do great music, who perform well even at the age of 8. So they all have those memories from past life. They're trying to use those talents which are stored in the database, right? So, but for most of us, it's a mind chatter, that subconscious, and then subconscious mind is very fast compared to the conscious mind. So it always keeps coloring those thoughts. At the moment you see something, then there are all those colors, all those emotions that keep coming. So it is the database for the assumptions, attitudes, beliefs we talked about. Now, quickly, how does meditation help? Right? So meditation allows us, when you are into those deeper states of meditation, which is theta and delta, right? So alpha, theta, delta. So that is when a lot of cleansing happens. So in meditation, you deprogram a lot of habits. You deprogram a lot of beliefs. Things like craving, fears vanish as you continue deep into those meditation. So consciousness goes in and clears those imprints. And then it makes sure your narrating mind or the ego mind gets silenced. So, and then what happens, that means there are more conscious moments, there are more mindful moments for you to react. And those mindful moments allow you to connect to your superconscious, your intelligence, right? So that is what happens in meditation. It automatically clears. It allows you to calm your mind. And this is what happens. We talked about this consciousness model, right? When we are in conscious thinking about something, we are on the beta. Our brain waves are at a beta frequency. As we go past the alpha bridge, and that is where music helps, that is where breath work helps, that is where yoga helps before meditation. So you calm your mind. And as you calm your mind, you enter into the subconscious. And there is a lot of cleansing that happens. A lot of thoughts keep coming. Initially, a lot of thoughts keep coming. Then over time, they get cleansed. A lot of emotions keep coming. I'm sure Shibu spoke about the meditation experiences at the beginning, right? So you start having different colors, different vivid visions, different feelings, tears. So all those come from the subconscious mind, and they're all part of a cleansing. And as our subconscious starts cleansing, as our minds get calmer, we reach the Niruddha state, we're able to access our real intelligence, the diamond inside us, the spontaneity. We're a lot more intuition. We listen to our intuition a lot more. We get very wonderful insights, right? And we start becoming more creative, more productive. So all those are coming from the superconscious. The way to the superconscious is through the subconscious, right? Because superconscious doesn't act at the frequency of conscious mind. So only when your conscious chatter, mind chatter silences, that is when you start having those intuitions, those insights. And that happens when you're in theta and delta state. You have those mystical experiences. You have those wonderful insights. All right. So before I close, I just want to quickly talk about this storyteller. This is ego. And when the ego has these 4 faces, it is the one that identifies with you with a specific role. right? It tells you are a dad, you are a supervisor, you are a teacher, right? So we get into the role, but the only thing is it needs an identity. It gives you an identity. When you start getting attached to that identity is where all the problem comes. Once you start getting attached to that identity, it ensures that you are safe with that identity. It ensures that you are in control, right? And any harm, anything that's going to destroy that identity, the ego makes you defend things, right? And ego always wants you to be correct. It doesn't want you to be accepting or open. And ego is the one who causes pain. It relishes being in pain. And that is where we talk about the pain body. I'm sure there is a session tomorrow on the energy. All of us have a pain body. All of us have a negative energy, negative form of energy that is related to that ego. Anytime someone tells you and immediately defend, immediately become angry, immediately want to prove your thing that you're correct, that is what allows you to, that's when your pain body is in action. That's your negative energy. It thrives on negative thinking. And then it doesn't allow you to be in the present moment. The goal of meditation, the goal of spiritual practice is being in the present moment, right? And the ego or the pain body's only objective is not to be in the present. It always wants you to be in the past, want in the future, creating those kleshas, creating fear, like, dislike, because that is where that negative energy of the pain body feeds. And remember, you are not the pain body. You are not your ego. You are not your mind. You are not your body, right? Who are you? You are that consciousness. You are that divinity in each one of us. How do we access that? Only when we silence our mind chatter. How do we silence our mind chatter? Through practices like meditation, developing concentration. Anytime you get your thoughts, you bring your attention back to your breath. Anytime you get your thoughts, so once it's one pointed, then the mind chatter stops, and then we start getting intuition. So you can measure your progress on meditation. You can measure your progress in any of the spiritual practices. Meditation, as I say, allows you to do three things. It first calms your mind. Calms the chatter. The reason and the way we do it is thoughts, attention to your breath. So once you calm your mind, what happens? A lot of cleansing happens. Things happen in real world that didn't happen earlier that allows you to cleanse, right? A lot of cleansing happens without your knowing, like the cleansing of the database, or it could happen during meditation. So calming, the second one happens cleansing. Once the cleansing happens, you start getting connected to your intuitions, to your intelligence, to your superconscious mind. This is what meditation does: calming, cleansing, and connecting to your superconscious mind. And it's all related to our mind, just like yoga. In fact, even yoga has a mind component, not just physical. And we all know mind, the way we think, we create our reality, right? So the mind creates good health or bad health. Mind creates disease or well-being. And with the right power of your mind, power of your subconscious mind, you can always manifest what you want. Today, more often than not, through our subconscious mind, we manifest things that we fear, manifest things that we are not at ease. Meditation, spiritual practices, once you calm that subconscious mind, allows you to create what you want, create what your soul needs, create what you are here for, right? I think there was quite a big session on mind. I hope the whole idea is to kind of look at what our mind chatter is and be conscious of it, be mindful of what our chatter. So with that, I'd like to end my session. I hope it was helpful. But before we get into the Q&A, just like I spoke about how there are other things that also calm your mind. One of the big things that calms your mind is music. And that is why we always play music during meditation, right? The music during the first few minutes gets you in the alpha state. And then it allows you to calm your mind much faster. So that's why Brahmarshi Patriji, you must have heard it today, Brahmarshi Patriji always combines the concept of music and meditation to calm your mind. So he's created this Pyramid Music Meditation Festival that we have every year. We are having this Pyramid Music Meditation Festival this year on November 25, 26, 27 in Pyramid Valley, Bengaluru. And in that wonderful green environment of Pyramid Valley, we will have close to 4 concerts or 5 concerts every day of those 3 days. In that environment, people sit in meditation. You can watch the concerts. You can let go of the mind chatter, and let go, have a lot of cleansing happen. And I'd like to play a small promo video. You can go to pyramidvalley.org/musicfest for more details. For people in Bangalore, you can definitely join us on any or all of those days. A wonderful lineup of musicians lined up. So we'll just look at the video before. I don't want to talk more about it. So the video will tell you a lot. Wonderful. Thanks, Sunil. So this event, again, being conducted by Pyramid Valley International and Pyramid Music Meditation Academy, which is found by Patriji as a mechanism, as a forum for musicians and meditators to come together. So this festival has, primarily based on, focus on classical music, Hindustani and Carnatic, and there are instrumental sessions as well as vocal sessions. So please feel free to join any day, or if you want to stay for all 3 days and enjoy all the sessions, you can book accommodation, stay in Pyramid Valley or around Pyramid Valley. But otherwise, the event is free. And so for people who are far off and who are passionate about music and passionate about meditation, you can be part of the event by contributing and donating. The event, there are different sponsorships also that are available, where we'll let people know that you sponsored it. All right. So there are multiple ways for you to do, and then all these will be available on the Pyramid Music Meditation Academy YouTube channel subsequent to the event. But listening, I was there for the first year last year. Listening to this divine music in the energies of Pyramid Valley, in the green surrounding energies of Pyramid Valley, live music and meditation is absolutely unbelievable. You got to be there to experience that. And this is on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So people in India or people who are visiting from the US during that time can definitely come and join us. We'll see you there, and thank you very much. We'll get into Q&A or the experience sharing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again for coming and taking your precious time. It is really our privilege to have you here. And we really appreciate the way you explain about the ways of mind and 5 pleasures, and how meditation helps in calming the mind, cleansing, and helping our ego mind to become silent. So thank you again. So if any participant has any question, please ask your question in the chat box. If the questions are not the part of this topic, then our volunteer will answer the question in the Telegram group chat. Now, we have an experience sharing session now, sir. So I would like to invite our experience sharing speaker, Sri Hari Sharma ji. A brief introduction about him. Sri Hari Sharma ji is a software engineering based of Dallas, Texas. He began his journey into meditation with Kriya Yoga and experimented with various forms of meditation and finally found Anapanasati. He has a community of people that he shared similar spiritual interest. He is very passionate about spreading the importance of meditation and recently even introduced his brother to meditation. Sri Hari and Bhavni run a meditation center called Adi Shankara Pyramid Center and conduct weekly meditation sessions. He is also working with the Dallas team in bringing bigger pyramid to Dallas to unite all the meditators across the state and hopefully country in the future. Let's hear from him what his experience are in his journey. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Blossom. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. Dear masters, pranams to everyone. So PSSM is a wonderful platform with beautiful wisdom and experience sharings by great masters. Many pyramid masters are great yogis living amongst us like normal people, leading family lives, but doing great sadhana, great enormous service to the society and entire universe. My deepest gratitude to Atriji and entire PSSM family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My deep gratitude to my best friend Rajendra for igniting spiritual spark in me by suggesting to read Yogananda's book, an autobiography of a yogi, and then leading me to Kriya Yoga. So that is how I entered into spiritual path. So I practiced Kriya Yoga for 8 years, then took up mantra sadhana for about 3 years, and I happened to stroll into PSSM 3 years back. And I'm very, very happy to have found to come into PSSM. I can't say in words how much I am indebted to PSSM. I found Anapanasati meditation very simple but very profound technique, an easy tool to deal with incessant thoughts and go beyond. So Sagar sir was mentioning about that monkey mind. So that is what my main problem was. So that has always been a problem. So, and I have come into Anapanasati meditation, and I really saw a lot of changes, benefits with that. So with PSSM, I took 4 concepts from PSSM and trying to practice in my daily life. So they are Swadhyayam, Sajjana Sangatyam, Dhyana, and Seva. And I can see a lot of transformation in me. So on a lighter note, so I want to say my bosses, Divya, Sushma, and Sampath ordered me to share my experiences today, though I don't have many, but I had to oblige them, so here I am. Well, let me share an experience how reading spiritual books helped me. I got into a business with a few of my close old friends, BTech classmates, and sooner than it took time to start, the differences cropped up, and it ended in a disaster for me with a lot of animosity, hatred, and seething anger. My blood used to boil, and I used to live the emotions whenever I remember it, even long after I exited the business. So after coming into PSSM, I read a book, Discover Atlantis by Diana Cooper. I found a prayer in it by Huna tribe on forgiveness. The concept is to forgive others, seek forgiveness from others, and forgive ourselves for any wrongdoings committed, knowingly or unknowingly, in this lifetime or previous lifetimes, and on this earth plane or any other planes of existence. So I took that prayer, adapted to myself. I prayed several days, every day during my meditation, forgive my friends, sought forgiveness from them, and forgive myself, and soon became free of all emotional baggage I was carrying. So I became totally free of that whole thing. So same thing, so similarly, I applied the same thing to all other known or unknown situations in my life, to the persons, to the beings involved in them, and I feel no emotional baggage at all any longer. So even if any new things come up, so I try to practice this on a daily basis. So I am totally free of any emotional baggages. So I also learned, so sadhana means it is not only meditation, but also practicing many concepts like acceptance, gratitude, non-violence, all these things, so many things, even Sagar sir has mentioned earlier. So all these concepts are taught in very simple terms by all the pyramid masters. So they really practice and they live the qualities. And that is how they're able to communicate so it really imprints in the minds. So I try to practice as much as I can, but spiritual sadhana is not a cakewalk in my case. It is like snakes and ladders game for me. Lots of snakes and few ladders. So falling from this, the path, getting back up, resuming the journey, that is how it is going. So let me share quickly one more small experience on non-violence, where I slipped from the path. So in our backyard, my wife grows a lot of vegetables and flowers. So we secured the fence like a fort, so no bunnies, rabbits would come and destroy the plants. But still, once in a while, a small bunny would sneak in, and we drive it out without hurting it, requesting it not to disturb each other. So I asked it politely, please don't come back. So let us have our own space, each other. So we keep looking for loopholes in the fort and fix them. But what happened once a small bunny was sneaking in? Every time we drive it out, it would appear right back next day. So we tried to fix every possible loophole in the fence and didn't find anything. And we were wondering where it was coming from, where it was sneaking. So it became a daily task to drive it off, and my patience was wearing thin and anger was slowly seeping in. So after a few days, I really lost patience and hit it with a stick lightly while it was running away. So I meant to just hit lightly and punish it a little bit, but without meaning to kill it, but unfortunately, it died. I saw the pain it went through. In spite of knowing Jiva Himsa is Mahapapam, and practicing all the patience, acceptance, compassion, all the meditation practice, etc., I slipped from a path and became a villain to it. So I felt so bad, so bad. I prayed for forgiveness several days and ultimately overcame the guilty consciousness, taking its sacrifice as a lesson to me, never to hurt again and to take stock of myself. So that gave me an opportunity to visit myself, analyze myself. So these are all the tests for the spiritual seekers. The more we advance, the more tough tests will appear to test our commitment in the sadhana. So I take that way. So every time I go through any rough patches, so I tell myself, okay, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. So that keeps me remain balanced a little bit and calm. So, but so in spite of all the ups and downs in the journey, so I'm sticking to the journey without giving up. So that is the best part I can say about myself, because a lot of so these all the negative things and disappointments, all these things will be there. So so I stand up again and I start walking. So that is what I can say. That is the best part I can say about myself. So so that's all I have, masters. So hope I didn't bore you with my experiences. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and bearing with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for joining, Sagar sir and Sharmaji. Your speech, your experience, and the way you explained motivated hundreds of people, trust me. And I can correlate Sharmaji experience with me. Recently it happened, I was going to office. I used to go early in the morning. I was backing up the car and I saw one bunny killed. And I felt so terrible. I went to temple so many times. I asked for forgiveness and I was not even sure it was me who killed the rabbit or not. But so much of guilty. So I can correlate with your story. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So now we have a Q&A session. There's one question asked by Subhadra. What are the signs of the progress in meditation?
Yeah, so I did see that question as I was ending my speech, so I pretty much covered that. So signs of our progress in meditation, definitely, I mean, again, Yoga Sutras and Buddhists have talked about the same progress. Initially, it is very, frequent disturbance, right? So as you continue to focus your attention on the breath, you will not be able to focus more attention for longer time. As you continue your progress, when you're able to focus your attention on the breath without your mind disturbing, that is step one. That is state one of the meditation, where you start focusing more attention. And as it continues to grow, you feel a sense of calmness in your mind. That is stage two, when you start feeling calmness in your mind because you are able to focus more attention on your breath. And as you do that, a lot of sensations, you'll feel a sense of joy, you'll feel a sense of bliss, you'll feel a sense of energy currents running through your body. That is stage four, or stage three, where you start feeling those sensations. Again, they're all progress that you measure as you deepen your meditation. And over time, you'll feel a sense of bliss, a sense of happiness because of those energy currents flowing, right? And then the last stage is when beyond that, you'll feel a sense of peace. And that is kind of the equanimous state all of us aim for. And initially, you'll feel that only for a few seconds, then few minutes, right? And then just by feeling a few minutes during meditation, you will feel very similar, a sense of undisturbed state of mind or unbotherable state of mind during your day as well. So earlier you used to be annoyed by certain very simple things. Now that sense of calmness will allow you to not react. You will not even start judging. So judgment stops, your reaction stops, or reaction changes in your daily life as well. So the real progress of meditation beyond the 1 hour or 2 hours that we sit is reflected in the way we respond. It's reflected on the peace and calmness that we have as we continue doing a daily life. So that's the real progress, and that's how you get to know whether I have progressed in meditation or I've been bothered with the same things as I was earlier.
Thank you, sir. So our second question is for Sharmaji. Did Kriya Yoga and Mantra Japa helped, or it was not much help?
Sorry, it was muted. So basically, Kriya Yoga definitely it is a great technique. Kriya Yoga. So all great people actually talked very greatly about Kriya. It's a great technique. So mainly what I found there was So there are a lot of so there are different techniques, different steps, and the last technique is to really sit in meditation. So just sit calm and do meditation. So, but my problem was, so I always used to get thoughts, but how to control thoughts? So what to do with the thoughts? So that I did not get any help on that front. So that is why I practiced long enough. There were subtle changes, but there were no perceptible changes which I see myself. So I was looking for something else. So then I got into this mantra thing, but mantra thing is also same thing, right? So mind always wanders. So it is okay. We'll be chanting the mantra, but it always goes away. So again, so I was not at all happy, and mantra was not my cup of tea. So I was looking for other things. So then I heard of this pyramid thing and Patriji. Then I researched a little bit and found in YouTube. I listened to hundreds of experience sharings by pyramid masters, and I really got excited. And I thought, okay, this is the best platform, this best place where I can benefit myself and also help others. So that is how I got into this PSSM, and I'm really, really happy to have come into this platform.
Thank you, Sharmaji. So our next question is from Neema Sriram. Her question is, I will be following the breathe well in the beginning, but after a while, my breath becomes very shallow that I can't follow or observe it. And I get distracted and cannot go back to meditation. Could you please give me some insights to handle this situation?
Yeah, so I think this along with the mind wandering thing, right? We keep getting thoughts, we're not able to focus on meditation. So I think in my breath by breath course, in my earlier APS course, and we do this in Stillness Retreat in Pyramid Valley as well. So there are a couple of techniques that we can follow to get, if we get lost and we're not able to focus, there are a couple of techniques that come from the Buddhist schools, because Buddhist monasteries, they keep doing meditation for a long time. So they need. So number one is, before getting into the deep state of meditation, you can do some conscious breathing. The one that I recommend usually is equal breathing. It's also called coherent breathing. So the first 5 minutes, you relax. It also gets into an alpha state, just like music. So you do long inhale, soft inhale, long, soft exhale. So while you're doing that, you can count for, ideally, there is an optimum breath rate. The optimum rate of breath for all of us varies between 6 breaths per minute to 5 breaths per minute, 5 to 6 breaths per minute. So when you breathe at that slow pace, then your body works fine, your mind works wonderfully well. And over time, people who've been practicing meditation, we see our breath becoming smaller or slowing breathing, right? So you can consciously practice long inhale without no pause, no holding the breath, long exhale. That is one that calms your mind faster. So when you do that, you can also do your counting. If you're not able to track your time. There are a lot of music, I think in YouTube, you'll find out a lot of music that actually gives you a chime every 5 seconds so that you can change your in-breath and out-breath that way. So that is just for the 5 minutes, and then you relax and then start focusing on your normal breath. That is one. The second one is counting. So there is a Buddhist thought of you count after every inhale, before every inhale, right? So before inhale, you do count 1, then exhale, then 2, inhale, exhale, 3, inhale, exhale. So you do that till 10 and then repeat. So as you do that, you are able to, because you're focusing on the count, you're not going to your thought, right? And the normal breath, you count till 10. If you get lost in between, you will get lost. And then you start your counting from 1 to 10. Similarly, you can do it after exhale or before inhale, either way. The last technique we normally talk about is labeling. So any thoughts that you're getting, right, you label that thought. Okay, this is work, this is food, this is about myself, this is about that person, whatever it is. So according to psychology and neuroscience, the fact that you interrupt a thought with an additional thought, with a different thought, then the thought starts getting reduced. So that's another thing, right? So different techniques, and there you can search on the web also a lot of techniques that allow you to focus on your meditation. But all these you can practice the 5-10 minutes as a preparatory stage. I call it as warm up. Just like we do some warm up exercises before we do physical exercise, these are all warm ups for us to get into the breath mindfulness meditation. You can try these out, and these have worked for a lot of people who found it difficult to focus. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Sagar sir and Sharmaji again for coming and clarifying our doubts. And I think we have covered most of the questions, and that has come to an end for today's session. We will be joining tomorrow. See you all tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.